I'm Harvey. I'm currently studying history, heritage and archaeology, and I'm in my final year. We cover the three subjects, history, heritage and archaeology. History, mostly look at the medieval period, ranging from 1066 till the Wars of the Roses. And then for heritage, we look at why places are significant, what value they have in society and how we need to preserve them for future generations. And finally, archaeology, where we look at prehistory, before the written word, and why people did the things they did without written evidence. My favourite of the three subjects is archaeology, where I like to look at ritual activity and trying to figure out why people did things through the use of ethnoarchaeology or experimental archaeology. Trips, yeah, we went to Avalon, sort of near here, where they've used experimental archaeology to recreate Anglo-Saxon longhouse, a Viking longship, a Bronze Age roundhouse, and the Roman building that used hypocaust systems to heat the underfloor, sort of an early central heating. Yeah, on the live excavations I've done, it's only really sort of with digging that. Yeah, it's mostly like Westbury Submendit, where there's a Roman villa. It's mostly just digging out the foundations and knowing where the foundations were, and any artifacts you do find, you keep them in a bag and then you write down the square that you found it in, and then that goes off to someone to sort them out. Then they keep a tally or a note of what's been found. Yeah, that's sort of a brief summary of what happens at a live dig. I've had great teachers the past 3 years. I couldn't praise them well enough if I tried. They've all got their own strengths and you know which one to go to depending on which subject you need help in. Ideally, I'd like to do a master's in archaeology, focusing on ritual activities. Hopefully, I'd like to go into research, but for that I'd need to do a PhD. That's another 3 years on top of a master's. You could go to a more traditional university with a larger class size, but I think the key thing that Strode has is the small class sizes. I think anyone you talk to who does any course at Strode will say that having small class sizes mean you get more valuable teaching from your lecturers. You can ask them one-to-one and they're free most of the time. You also form close bonds with the people on your course because you're with them for 3 years. The course is very fun with a wide range. You never get bored of one subject like you would with a traditional course focused on one area. History you cover, yeah, like I said, medieval mostly, but then you'd also look at interpretations of how authors see why wars started, and then archaeology you focus more on ritual practices, but then you can also look at artifacts and why they were made, how they were made. And then heritage, yeah, looking more at arguments in heritage, more should you conserve or should you reconstruct places? Yeah, there's nothing to get bored about. There's so much you can pick up and study that every lecture's something new and exciting.